Welcome to Our Nona. My name is Kevin Kendrick, and I am your Lake Nona expert. And today, I am joined with my friend, Pastor Collin Outerbridge from Nona Church. So, Pastor Collin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Kevin, it is always a joy to spend time with you, and thanks so much for the invite.
So, I think I started interviewing people probably around 2018. I don't know how many people I've interviewed. I'm going to guess around 200, 250, maybe even encroaching 300. You are the person I've interviewed the most.
Wow. Well, I appreciate the willingness to endure conversations with
And
me.
I don't know I don't know how many times, but it seems like, each year around Christmas,
Yep.
We get together, and then around Easter we get together because it's a special time, of course, as a pastor, even for a parent, as a father, that we get to celebrate. At Christmas time, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. Yeah. And then at Easter, we get to celebrate the resurrection.
Yeah.
And so for those that are watching,
yeah.
and they're just like, hey, look, their Christmas, Easter, they don't really know the whole story, why people go to church maybe on Easter, why that's such a big deal. Walk us back, and let's talk about the resurrection and why Easter is such a big deal to Christians around the world.
Yeah, all of Christianity hinges on this particular moment in history, and it's perhaps the most controversial and debated question in human history. Did Jesus actually rise from the dead? And when we think about Easter and Resurrection Sunday, what we're reflecting on is the fact that billions of people from around the world have had a personal experience with God where they're convinced that Jesus actually did indeed die and then defeat death. And globally, we know that this has had a massive impact on the way that we see the world, the way that we think about caring for others. And Jesus' message wasn't just a message of being kind or being good or being a good neighbor. Jesus' message declared that he was teaching us not only how to live, but that he was going to prove to us that everything he said was true because he was going to call his death and his resurrection and pull it off. And so Easter is a moment where we remember, we reflect, and we celebrate that Jesus really is who he says he is, that he really did what he said he would do. And because that's true, we can have faith and confident trust to know that God really does love us, that God is with us, and that he's on our side.
And so at Nona Church, how many services do we have on Easter Sunday? And you're going to do a Saturday night service as well.
It's Easter weekend for us. We have 11 in-person Easter celebrations. They start on Saturday at 4 p.m. And go through Sunday at both of our locations. We've got a Moss Park campus and a Narcoossee campus, and it'll be a great time. So we'll have 11 opportunities for families to come together, to celebrate, to reflect on this amazing, momentous occasion in history. And we're really excited about the opportunity to welcome people and celebrate with them and reflect on just how important this day is.
And so the neat thing is you have 11 services, multiple churches. So if you're watching this, multiple churches in the Lake Nona community in St. Cloud have a place for you. I think I know you well enough to know that yes, you want people to come to Nona Church, but you just want them to be in a church.
Yeah, here's my encouragement to you. My encouragement would be go to Google, look up churches in your area, maybe listen to a message or two, check out the website, and pick a church that makes the most sense for you and your family. One of the things that we love about our community and what we get to be a part of here in Lake Nona and in St. Cloud is that there are amazing people and amazing churches throughout our community that are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus, creating strong community for people to connect. And our hope is that everybody has a place that they can call their own.
Now, let's talk about other churches in the area because in June of last year, 2024, actually, I think it was July, you and I, we co-hosted a principal prayer breakfast. But the cool thing is it brought all the pastors together from the Lake Nona area. Have you been able to stay connected with other pastors within the Lake Nona area, whether it's the launching of a new church or maybe a more established church? Talk to me about relationships.
Absolutely. I've got some incredible friends that are a part of the community here in Lake Nona that are stewarding and caring for different congregations. And what's so special about each of those people and each of those families is they really care about this community. And so whether or not it's a new church that's getting launched or if it's churches that have been here for a while, it's not uncommon for us to pick up the phone, chat, check in on each other, see how we can be supportive of each other. And that's one of the commitments we had as a church here at Nona, that if it was a new church or a church that was a part of our community, if we were in a position where we could be a blessing to help support others, we wanted to do that.
And I think it's been interesting because this year we've seen 2 churches launch
Yeah.
in Lake Nona. Overflow Church
Yep.
has launched, and then City of Life.
Yeah.
Is it City of Life or City
Yeah.
of Beautiful? City of Life.
City of Life.
City of Life, based
yeah.
in St. Cloud, but
Yeah.
they opened up at Luminary Middle School.
Yeah.
So an existing church and then a brand new birth church
Yeah.
launched in our community, which has been awesome to see. Overflow meets at North Lake Park.
YMCA, yeah.
At the YMCA, which is where Nona Church,
Yes.
For those that don't know, that's where it all started for you. Yeah. I remember back then you didn't have the beard. You were a lot skinnier. And I'm not saying, but you put on muscle.
I don't know if that's it, but I appreciate that. Yeah.
But I remember when y'all launched the church at the YMCA, literally turned a gym into a church on Sunday mornings. And now you have 2 locations, one in Moss Park, meeting at the Wycliffe Bible Translators, and then also you have your own property that you built a church off of Narcoossee and St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Talk about the growth that Nona Church has experienced since day one all the way up until today.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. You know, when we first gathered at that YMCA, we used half of the basketball court and had about 150 or so just dedicated, amazing people that were part of our community. Today, on any given weekend, we'll help serve a couple thousand people in our community. And what's been so fun over these years is to see how, while the church has grown in size, the culture hasn't changed. We're still about the same things, caring for people, helping people know and take their next best step in following Jesus, and really being a place where it's safe to ask big questions, to belong before you believe. And what I'm so excited about is as our church continues to make an impact in the community, we're getting to see other people do that as well. And I think at the end of the day, our community, the place that we call home, is better when people find good relationships, find meaningful points of connection, and are able to discover their personal faith along the way.
So the sign right above us, it says Nona, and for the longest time, one of your slogans was for Nona.
Yeah.
You talk about serving.
Yeah.
You know, I have seen, sometimes from the outside looking in, I've seen people on Narcoossee Road inviting people to get free gas.
Yep.
I've seen you put book bags together for kids in need. I've seen you help families going through foster care, bringing, hey, we got a foster kid, we have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean to you and to your team that you are being the hands and feet of Jesus in the Lake Nona community?
Well, it's really kind of you. I think that sometimes I and our staff can get a little too much credit for the amazing things that are happening in our community, because it really is the people that volunteer and serve at our church that are making the biggest difference. And so often what ends up happening is people in our church will hear about a need at a local school, or they'll hear about something in their workplace. They'll contact us and say, hey, here's a problem that needs to be solved, or here's a family that's in need. And our church has always wanted to leverage itself to be on the side of saying, man, when we hear that there's a need, we want to do everything we can to help meet that or help resource people that can make a difference. And so really the way that I describe it, Kevin, is like, while we're grateful, God's really blessed us with an incredible staff, an amazing leadership team to help guide our church. It's the thousands of people that call Nona Church home, that every day, waking up, sending their kids to school, going to work, shopping at Publix, frequenting the restaurants, connecting in the community. It's everybody with their head on a swivel, looking around saying, who needs help and how can we be a blessing to them? That's the thing that inspires me most.
Well, next time you guys do free gas at Wawa, like, I want to be the guy. I want to hold a sign.
Sounds
like,
good.
That was, like, when I saw it, I took a picture and I posted it because I was like, this is awesome. And at the time, I didn't even know it was Nona Church.
Yeah.
I just saw people were holding up signs that said free gas.
Yeah.
No questions asked. And I think we when we posted it, hey, if you're a teacher or a nurse, get down there now.
Yeah.
Because we know that the teachers and the nurses always need a little bit of extra love, and free gas goes a long way. Let's talk about the different programs at Nona Church, because probably those early days in the Lake Nona YMCA, it was big church and church for kids.
Yeah.
And now, but you've kind of grown. I mean, you have, as you said, you have a couple thousand people. What programs is Nona Church offering to the community?
Yeah, I think that we are the kind of community that wants to help step in and support the vision of others that want to create meaningful community here in our neighborhoods and where we call home. And so whether or not you're a mom who's looking for a place to get connected, we've got this amazing community called Nona Moms. It's hundreds of moms that are gathering on Sundays. Childcare is given to the moms to give them a break. And then they all have mentor moms, women who have had their kids grow up and graduate, who are pouring back into moms that are trying to figure out how to manage life in this season. My favorite ministry that we have is one I'm not allowed to be a part of. It's Nona 55 Plus. It is the largest ministry in terms of growth, in terms of percentage that we've seen in the last couple of years. And it's just filled with amazing people that are either entering retirement or moving towards retirement who want to do more than simply hang out at the beach club. They want to make a difference. And it's been so cool to see all of the different communities and dynamics that exist there. We have, of course, provide support for families when it comes to student ministry. I think we're on every high school campus here in our region and every middle school campus, trying to make as big a difference as we can. And then, of course, what we offer to kids, I think, is probably one of the greatest things that we do in our community. I like to say this all the time. If I wasn't the pastor of Nona Church, I would still be going to Nona Church because of how strong the kids ministry is. Right. And that's where I would want my kids to grow up.
Collin, you talk about Nona Kids, and like you would still attend Nona Church. I know Nona Kids has a pretty big event coming up in June.
Yes.
Tell us about what's happening at Nona Church in June.
Yeah, I would say this to all of the parents and that are a part of our community. If you're looking for a life-giving, fun, energetic environment for your kids this summer, I would encourage you to take a look at what we're doing for Nona Kids Camp. Nona Kids Camp is a 4-day event that happens in June. It happens at both of our campuses, filled with fun, games, and activities, and points of connection for kids to learn about God's love in a way that's appropriate to their age. And so we love putting on Nona Kids Camp. It's a great opportunity to help the community come together, give parents a break, and allow kids to experience a ton of fun in the summer.
Let's just shift.
Yeah.
Last thing for us to talk about. Let's talk about you and your family.
Yeah.
Originally when Nona Church launched, you guys were living on the east side.
Yeah.
But you found a home.
We did.
In Lake Nona, and you now call Lake Nona home. So It's not just you're here to preach on Sundays and the occasional. Like this is like I could see you at Publix.
Yes.
Like that's how it could happen. Talk to us a little bit about your family dynamic and why did you all choose Lake Nona to be your home and to plant your family flag?
That's a great question. You know, Stacy and I have both had the privilege of living in Orlando since we were in elementary school. She was born here, and I moved here when I was 7. And so Orlando's been home for us since we were little kids. And so Lake Nona back then really didn't exist. It wasn't much. It's amazing to see the development over these years. And so as we became adults, as we got married, as we began to think about where we wanted to raise our kids, we knew that if we would get the opportunity to stay in Orlando, we would love to do that. And as we began to evaluate the different neighborhoods and opportunities, there's something really special about the Nonahood, something really special about the people that work here and live here and play here. And for us, the ability to have our family in this community, to be able to shop where our friends shop, to be able to hang out at the places where our friends hang out, and to raise our kids in such a strong community that values the same things that we do, it was a no-brainer. And so for us, it was just a matter of time. It was a matter of the right opportunity and the right space. And man, when we moved to Lake Nona, we are so grateful that we did, and we haven't looked back.
Collin, is there anything that you would like to say to the people of Lake Nona, whether it's about coming from you specifically or about events that's coming up at Nona Church?
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to say is thank you to you. You and Yvette are just amazing people, and our community is so blessed to have you be a part of it. The ways that you guys have cultivated community, served others, and helped create an environment where everybody can thrive, it really is a blessing to be able to call you two friends, and I'm so grateful for you. What I would say to our Nona community is thank you. Thank you for all of the ways that you are contributing to make this such a unique and special place to call home. Our family is so grateful that we get to be a part of this amazing fabric of people and relationships and stories that are cultivating the kind of community that I think when we look back on it, we'll be really grateful that we were a part of. And so thank you so much for the ways that each of you are bringing your best to our community to make a difference. Together, we'll build something beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Collin. I am super thankful for him and for the ministry that he and his wife lead in our community. Now, if you would like to know more about Nona Church, you can find them at nonachurch.com. And we'll see you next time on Our Nona.